Now, CM Punk.
Now, I knew you was getting to something. This is my favorite subject.
I know it is. I think it's a lot of people's favourite subject, to be perfectly honest. I've got many, many questions with it, and actually some very interesting follow-up questions as well. But CM Punk has returned at the end of Survivor Series. Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and Randy Orton celebrate after their War Games victory. Then the WWE, the little thing in the corner, the WWE copyright graphic pops up, signifying the end of the show. Then Punk's music hits. They're in Chicago, his hometown. The crowd pisses themselves with joy. And he does...
Wait a minute.
There is...
The crowd...
Yeah.
We kind of watch our language on this show, James.
Are you rebuking me, if you like that word?
The crowd pisses themselves.
Rivers of whittle.
Go ahead.
Rivers of whittle of just happiness happening down the stairs of the arena. He does the whole sitting on the floor thing, the whole it's clobbering time, and then that's it, basically, as we saw it on the pay-per-view. There's a story behind that as well, but for now, the pay-per-view goes off air, and CM Punk is officially back in WWE. So I called it. I know I did. You called it. We both said that CM Punk would be back, and we both said he'd be back at Survivor Series. So a Barry Horowitz style pat on the back for us both.
But they did that in such a way that made me think, well, he may not be back. Because if you think of what Punk did, Punk got fired from AEW, just got fired. Because he made Tony Khan timid.
Fear for his life. Was the quote.
Yeah, fear. He has never been so afraid as with CM Punk. Threatened him. So, and then it went on another, week or so, then they fired him.
Basically, yeah.
So he got fired, and now the conversation started. Now, one thing you say about Punk has a built-in innate purpose in life. It's to get people to talk about him. So he got fired. But if you go back before that, he got fired in WWE too.
Mm-hmm.
So then he went to AEW and got fired. So we're thinking, where's he going now? And then all of a sudden, all that talk started to float out of WWE. We don't want him. He's hard to work with. He's insane. He's this, that, and the other. So you're thinking, wait a minute, they're letting all this stuff out. So maybe he's not going there. Then he goes to Chicago about a week later for a WWE show, but he was just in the parking lot.
Yes, this was during his suspension from AEW, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, about a year or so ago, maybe less.
And I'm thinking, wow, this is okay. So when he went to Chicago, and when was that? A year ago?
Well, he lives in Chicago. He's been there a lot. You mean a Raw?
No. When he was in the back in the parking lot.
I think it may have even been in this. It may have been this year.
I think it was.
Yeah, but he was definitely on suspension at the time from AEW. So yeah.
So now the people are thinking, you can say what you want to about CM Punk, but the one thing you have to say is he knows how to get people to talk about him.
I'm going to put you on a spot here. Do you think that CM Punk got himself fired from AEW on purpose?
Yes, I do.
Really?
I didn't originally think that, but I think that he wanted them to fire him because that goes right along with he's a maverick. Nobody tells him what to do. If you fire me, good, fire me. He didn't care. And originally I didn't think that, but now as time went on, I think that he got himself fired on purpose. Now the big question is he going back to WWE? Then you have all those people saying, no, he's not coming here. They're not going to put up with his bull crap. They're not going to do it. And then I was going to mention this. He went to a WWE show 6-8 months ago in the parking lot where he was talking to the Samoan girl, Tamina. Was that her name?
Yeah.
And he was filming him walking in the parking lot. And I'm thinking, wow, he's there at a WWE show. He goes inside. Then we hear that he's been asked to leave because the attorneys are there and they think they're going to get sued, which everybody understands lawsuits. So he's there. Is he looking for a job or what's he doing? And then as it comes out, Punk gets fired from there, and then here it comes for Survivor Series and WWE. And lo and behold, it comes out, the music, there he is sitting on the stage, and there he is.
Let me give you some of this then. So Punk's WWE deal was highly secretive. Only Punk's camp, Triple H, and Nick Khan supposedly knew. So that means that excludes the likes of Ari Emanuel.
Hey, we knew.
We knew. Of course we knew. We knew it all along. Ari Emanuel, head of TKO, possibly even Vince McMahon, didn't even know this. So about 10 days before Survivor Series, this is when the contract is signed. Has been suggested a multi-year deal. But at this point, people are even arguing whether he signed a multi-year deal. We don't even know if he's going to be working a regular schedule or it's going to be more of a part-time deal like Roman Reigns. At this stage of the game, I'd probably think that Punk isn't going to be on the road full-time.
I don't think he would be on the road full-time. I think he may start out like that, then they'll pull him back. So
it was like a welcome.
If they start showing the talent that he's being treated with deference, he's not there every night like they are. The talent, they won't like that. So, but again, like I said, he has the ability to make people talk about him. And I congratulate him on that.
We don't even know at this point, because various wrestling journalists are arguing on this point as well, if the main event players of Survivor Series that night knew if CM Punk was going to come out at the end. Now, I sort of find that hard to believe that they wouldn't tell them, but it's wrestling. No. Sometimes you kayfabe your own employees.
Oh, I've been kayfabed.
Oh, yeah?
I've been kayfabed a lot of times.
Example?
The Bastages. I was with it was when ECW was trying to do a hostile takeover of WWE. We went out in a New York show, and there was Punk. I mean, I'm sorry, not Punk. There was Paul Heyman, and
remember Sandman, Tommy Dreamer? It was in Philly, in fact. It was Mind Games.
Yep, it was Tommy Dreamer, right. I had to think. Sandman and Paul Heyman. And they were all there up in my face. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But they didn't tell me. So I said, well, what would they have done if I'd have just pulled back and punched the crap out of one of them? But I didn't, because I'm such a professional. But if I have, I mean, I don't think that would have went good for me.
They had to stop Jerry Briscoe from doing that because they didn't tell him either.
Yeah. But you see, you take a big chance when you don't tell your own people. So they can come off and they say if they saw Vince, he was somebody grabbed him and they had set that up. Well, Briscoe would have punched him. Probably some of the guys would have punched them. So now we got this big thing going on and it's all set up, but they didn't tell us. I think the talent, if that was set up and they didn't tell the talent, I think they'd have had a fight later on between the talent. and the agents or whoever came up with it. But yeah, they have a couple of times they didn't tell me. They did it on TV one time too. And I mean, they can make you feel like this is not a part of the show. They was in the ring or they were at ringside talking to me, and they were getting actually real live results or facials from what these guys were doing. And it was really funny to them, I guess, but it wasn't funny to me. And I wish they hadn't have done it because it could have ended badly. And it could have ended badly for me, to tell you the truth. If I'd have punched one of them could come back and punch me, then here we go. So
CM Punk was indisputably AEW's biggest star and ratings draw while he was there. And the question I've got for you really is Rampage is now doing record lows. Collision's doing record lows since Punk's firing. The ratings have sunk for Collision for the most part. And in the last 8 weeks, not that he was ever on Dynamite, but this is just sort of symptomatic of just AEW at the moment, is bang on 800,000 viewers average for the last 8 weeks. Will Punk's return to WWE further damage AEW's reputation and value in the eyes of the fans that are still watching? Or will AEW see no difference, essentially, for Punk moving from AEW to WWE? Essentially, is it damaging to the AEW product?
Oh, I think they'll see a big difference.
Yeah.
Because the majority of the fans, I think they want Punk there just to see what he's going to do. Because what he did in AEW, it wasn't anything really. It wasn't anything to write home about. And so I think they're seeing what the top company can do with this guy and see if they involve some of his past and bring it back home. So I think it looks good for Punk on that side. You don't know yet, but what do you think the ratings were for AEW on Saturday night?
I would love to know. We
don't know that yet?
No, we won't know that until Tuesday. I think because it's on a Saturday, it takes a few days to come out. But because Collision and Rampage both went against Survivor Series, I think, or at least Collision did, I know that. I'm going to say for Collision 225.
You're pretty good with this. How much?
I'm gonna say record low 225 because Peacock has had a huge upsurge from a year ago in subscribers as well. So more people than ever, I think, at the moment have Peacock. Therefore, more people can watch Survivor Series rather than cable. Or they choose Peacock over TNT or TBS, whichever channel that's on. So well, I think 225 for Collision.
That's horrible. That is horrible. It really is. TNA used to get 500, 600,000 on Spike.
It used to be 1.1 million. All the time it used to be 1.1 million for years. TV's different now, but
that's
still.
when I booked it.
Of course.
But they got... But this is the deal that I have with TNA. I don't give a shit what you drew. They were never happy. Never. Say if you did a 1.5, which would have been ecstatic, it was like, well, it needs to be higher than that. Wait a minute. What do you want? I mean, Dixie was just never happy with any rating because she always thought it should be WWE value. And it didn't get there.
Let me.
Have you checked on the Tammy sentencing yet?
Yeah, I've had it. I've got it in my corner. We've still got an expert on the stand with an expert comb over as well. That's a very nice one. We will get to that probably at the end of the show because I think there's just going to be a lot of talking. I want to stick with CM Punk, and specifically, I actually want to stick with the Collision ratings. I've said 225. The reason why is because on SmackDown, Last Friday, AEW Collision was on a quote-unquote unfamiliar night, even though wrestling fans are watching wrestling that night, and it did 270,000 against SmackDown. So this is in its regular time slot, and I think it's going to do worse. I think 225. Do you think above or below 225 for Collision?
I'm not going against you. You're a pretty good predictor.
Okay, well, give us out up above or below.
I'll say below.
Oh, you pessimist.
It's below. This is because that day had some tremendous football games on, plus the pay-per-view. And now they can come out and say, well, we'd have drawn better had, this ball game not been on, this football game, or if WWE hadn't ran their pay-per-view, or
if we
or McDonald's was open late.
If we pinned them down, Clockwork Orange style, and peeled their eyes open.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of reasons because they want to have a reason for all these ratings not concurring with the fans agreeing with them. I mean, the rating going up, it's not going to go up, period. So I don't know why people would sit and watch it. And I'm sure there's people who sit and watch that.